Okay, here's a question for you. What if the very ground beneath your feet, or maybe the water right beside it, could actually add years to your life? And I'm talking beyond just, healthy habits. What if the location itself holds some kind of secret to longevity? Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we sift through, well, stacks of fascinating sources and try to pull out the really important nuggets of knowledge and sometimes some pretty surprising insights. Today, we are plunging into some really intriguing new research. It suggests living near the ocean might offer, well, more than just good vibes. It could actually be linked to a longer lifespan. So our mission today, we're going to unpack this pretty groundbreaking new study. It explored the link between what researchers are calling blue spaces and, how long people live, and it reveals some surprising differences. Honestly, it might just challenge what you thought you knew about the health benefits of living near water. Our
Mm.
main source for this deep dive is a recent study. It came out of the Ohio State University, published in the journal Environmental Research, and these researchers, they really did their homework. They meticulously examined population data from, get this, over 66,000 census tracts right across the entire U.S. So, okay, let's dig into this. What did the Ohio State team actually find?
Well, right off the bat, what's really compelling is how clear the main finding is. There's a strong link, pretty undeniable, between living near the coast and living longer. And this was particularly clear for people living within about 30 miles of the ocean or the Gulf of Mexico.
30 miles. That's a pretty specific zone for such a big impact. And the numbers really make it clear. Coastal residents
Yeah,
expected to live a year, maybe even more, longer than the current U.S. average of 79 years. That's quite a jump, isn't it?
it really is a significant bump.
Just from geography.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that finding alone, it's quite remarkable. It really highlights a specific advantage tied directly to, well, oceanic environments. It's a powerful starting point for understanding how our physical surroundings can, shape our health in such a fundamental way.
Okay, but just when you might be thinking, right, time to move to the beach, the researchers found something else. A surprising twist that kind of challenges that whole blue space idea. Because while the coast showed this great benefit, the study found a really stark contrast. That same longevity boost, it does not seem to apply to people living in cities next to rivers or big lakes.
That's right. A very clear difference. And actually, for some of those inland urban areas, the data pointed the other way,
Yeah.
a negative correlation. People living in cities close to large inland water bodies, and they define that as over 4 square miles, they actually tended to have slightly shorter life expectancies, around 78 years.
Whoa.
It's a really striking difference from the coastal results.
So not just like no benefit, but actually a slight decrease. That really flips the script on the idea that, any water is good water.
It does.
Although it's worth mentioning, the study did find a little nuance there, right? Rural populations near water might get some small benefit.
Yes, potentially some modest benefits in rural settings near water, but you're right, it's absolutely not the same strong effect that they saw with coastal living. It's a very different picture.
So what's going on there? Why the huge difference?
Well, if we try to connect this to the bigger picture, it seems it's not just about the water itself. It's a much more complex interplay of environmental factors and, crucially, socioeconomic factors, too. Jianyang Jimmy Wu, who was the lead researcher, suggested there's sort of a cluster of advantages for coastal areas.
Okay, like what?
Things like milder temperatures, and this seemed really important, lower maximum temperatures. That was identified as maybe the most critical difference.
Huh, temperature. That's fascinating. Why would that stand out so much, maybe even more than, say, air quality? Which you'd also expect to be better near the coast sometimes.
It's a great question. And while, yes, better air quality and more chances for recreation definitely play a role along the coast, extreme heat is a known stressor, a big one. It puts a real strain on the body, especially, for older people or those with health issues. Milder coastal climates just reduce that stress.
That makes sense. Less physiological wear and tear from extreme weather.
Exactly. And then you add in the other factors often found in coastal areas, better transportation, less risk of drought, even on average, higher incomes. It's like a whole ecosystem of well-being, really.
A whole package deal, right. So on the flip side then, those inland urban challenges, what did the research suggest was driving that slight decrease in life expectancy near urban lakes or rivers?
Yeah, the postdoctoral researcher Yannick Howe, she pointed to factors that are, well, unfortunately pretty common in many urban areas near large inland waters. Things like higher pollution levels, concentrated poverty, maybe fewer safe places to actually get outside and be active, and also an increased risk of flooding in some areas.
So those urban environmental stressors, they can basically cancel out or even outweigh any potential positives of being near the water?
Precisely. It can create a kind of net negative effect on health outcomes in those specific urban contexts.
It really forces a reevaluation of what blue space actually means for our health, doesn't it? I think a lot of us, we've heard about previous research linking living near water, any water, to better health, like people
Hmm.
being more active, lower obesity rates, better heart health.
Hmm. That's definitely been the prevailing idea based on earlier studies.
And that's exactly what prompted Wu, the lead researcher, to look deeper, right? To see if it actually translated to longer lives and how it might vary by neighborhood.
Exactly.
Mhm.
They wanted to test that assumption across different types of environments.
So this study wasn't just confirming what we thought we knew. It was actually, well, challenging the very idea that all blue spaces are created equal when it comes to longevity.
Precisely. And the researchers themselves, they said they were surprised. Wu actually stated, we thought it was possible that any type of blue space would offer some beneficial effects, and we were surprised to find such a significant and clear difference between those who live near coastal waters and those who live near inland waters.
Why? So even they didn't expect such a stark divide.
It seems not. And that really highlights how novel these findings are. This study, it really stands out. It's the first to comprehensively and systematically look at the relationship between these different types of blue space and longevity across the whole U.S.
So thinking bigger picture, this isn't just about, where you personally might want to live. It makes you wonder how much of the broader trends we see, like with US life expectancy compared to other wealthy countries, how much might be tied to these kinds of environmental factors.
That's a really important connection to make.
Because the US has seen a sharper fall in life expectancy recently and a slower bounce back than other nations. So what does this all mean for understanding public health, beyond just our individual lifestyle choices?
Well, it definitely raises critical questions about how our environment, often in ways we don't even notice, profoundly shapes our health outcomes and how it contributes to health inequities. Yanni Kao, the other researcher, was particularly interested in this angle, and her conclusion was pretty clear. She said, uh, it's likely that various social determinants of health, including complex environmental factors, are playing a key role in the differences we saw.
Social determinants of health,
Exactly.
including the environment itself.
Exactly. It's a reminder that health isn't just about individual behavior. It's very much a product of our surroundings, our communities, the policies that shape them.
Okay, so the key takeaway here, the bottom line seems pretty clear. Not all blue spaces offer the same longevity benefits. Coastal environments, well, they seem to have this unique intertwined set of advantages.
Right. It's more than just the view. It's this complex ecosystem of factors, environmental, social, economic, that seem to promote longer lives.
And this knowledge, it matters for you, whether you're, say, interested in public health policy, or maybe urban planning, environmental science, or maybe you're just curious about what influences a long, healthy life. It shows that our environment is, well, an active participant in our well being, not just a backdrop. And maybe for a final thought to leave you with, how might this kind of research shift our whole perspective on what really makes an environment healthy? And what implications could that have down the line for, future city development, for policymaking, or even for your own personal choices about where you might want to live?